Hey chess friends, my name is Sprout, and today we are going to be doing another video in our beginner series. And today I'm going to teach you about the Wayward Queen attack, because I see this attack working way too often in the novice ranks of the game. So if your rank is between 100 and 500, I see this succeeding way too often. And I want to show you that it's nothing to be concerned about. In fact, in many cases, you're going to get a huge lead, and you really want to see this type of move. So let's just get into it. Our Wayward Queen attack, of course, begins with the moves e4, e5, and then we bring the star of our show, the queen, over to h5. And this is a really scary attack if you're a newer player, because, well, it's scary when the opponent puts their queen out on your side of the board on move 2. It's a threat, and you immediately, you have to deal with it. What are they threatening? They're threatening e5, and they're also pointed at f7, which is your weakest square as black. It's really weak because, well, you only have your king guarding it, so that's a really big weakness. Now, if you're not paying attention and you just want to threaten that queen, you're going to play knight to f6. But of course, this just runs into the queen taking on e5. Now, from here, you're potentially still okay. Yeah, you're down a pawn, but, you can just block with the bishop. You can still get castled. Things will be just fine. You could get into real trouble right here if you block with your queen. Of course, then you let this, the c7 square fall. So you do have to watch out and be careful. The correct move in this situation isn't to attack the queen just yet, but we have to defend e5. So we do that by playing knight to c6, developing a minor piece. From here, there's usually only one logical course of action from white. They're going to play bishop to c4. What does bishop c4 do? Well, bishop c4 is adding another attacker to the f7 square, which I mentioned as earlier as being really weak. Now we have two pieces attacking that pawn, and if we don't do anything, it's going to be checkmate on the next turn. So if you don't notice that and you decide, okay, this pawn is safe, now let's attack the queen, you can see the eval bar just went completely to white side because that is just checkmate. So we don't want to do that. In this situation, the best way to deal with it and to block that checkmate is the move g6. g6 threatens the queen. So where's the queen going to go? Most likely, and I would say 95% of your games, the queen is going to go to f3. Why f3? Because this way, the threat of checkmate is still alive on f7. But the good news for you is, it's really easy to block. How do we block this checkmate? I want you to think about it. All right, if you said knight to f6, you are correct. Knight to f6 blocks the checkmate. It does a lot of things. So knight to f6, we are developing another piece, which is great, because now we have two minor pieces developed, and they just have one minor piece developed. At some point in the future, this could also attack d5. It's helping to defend the d5 square, and at some point that could be really valuable to us. White has a few options, and I will say we have a lot of options from this point. If we want to be really solid and we don't want to get involved in any advanced tactics, all we have to do on our next move is fianchetto the bishop onto g7, and then the move after that, we just castle. And that gets us out of everything. We're fine then. But we do have a lot of tactical opportunities in this position. So what happens? They can do all kinds of things. They could play their maybe they try to get this knight out of the way to h3, or maybe they move it to e2, just, so that they can castle, because they probably want to do that. If they do something like that, or, so many other moves too, we bring our knight directly into d4. We don't wait at all, we are on the attack. We are gaining the initiative here. What I mean by that is, we are forcing the opponent to stop their plans and do what we want to do. Basically, to respond to our threat. They can't castle, they can't develop any other pieces. They have to respond to this threat, because if they do nothing, we are going to take their queen next turn. So what do they do here, right? Well, there's a couple options. I can tell you what the absolute worst option for them is, and the worst option is, well, first of all, can anyone tell me, aside from the queen, aside from attacking the queen, what else are we threatening with this move? Alright, if you said C2, you're correct, because we're also threatening a fork on C2, so they have to come up with a way to defend against both of those. And they can end up in a lot of trouble. Worst case scenario, best case for us, of course, is that they play the move queen to E3, which just walks into an amazing family fork, in which case you are winning a queen. But there's other concessions that they might make. Now, that is the best option that for us anyway, that we would love to see that. But let's say they put their queen back, because they need to protect this somehow. If we look, they're being very passive now. Their queen came out, their queen came back, now their queen's all the way back. So they moved their queen 3 different times just to end up in the same spot that they started out at. And that's called tempo and winning a tempo. Technically, this is winning 2 tempo, because they've wasted several moves and haven't accomplished anything, which means we are ahead in tempo. From this situation here, we have so many choices. If they do move their queen back all the way, we could play knight captures on e4, which looks pretty bad. We have our knights up here. They can kick the knight, and technically, we do lose a tempo in having to go back home. But in doing so, we have still ruined we still ruined white's center, so it's okay. We could also, instead of playing there, we could play the move d5. And d5 is really great because we are attacking the bishop. We're attacking the bishop and the central pawn. So if they don't do anything now, we've created another problem that our opponent has to respond to. This is again, we have the initiative. We are forcing our opponent to defend against our attacks instead of doing anything against us. So now they have to move this bishop somewhere. And this is where they could, again, easily blunder. They could move the bishop to b5, giving a check, but of course, our knight controls b5, right? They could move the bishop back to, I don't know, they could move it back to d3, but that just looks horrible, and the engine agrees. Now, they blocked in the development of their dark-squared bishop here, and they still haven't really helped their situation at all, because the next move, we are taking on e4, and this bishop will have to move again. Let's say that part didn't happen. Maybe we get to this part here, and they take. I mean, that seems better for them, right? Maybe they just take. And in a position like this, if we were concerned about tactics, we could play the move bishop to g4. The move bishop to g4 is, well, they're going to have to block it, right? And once they block it, we can take on h3. But that's also a little bit more fancy than we need to be. The reason why we would do all that, by the way, is because now the king has absolutely no safety whatsoever on the king's side. But we don't have to go through all of that, right? In this situation, if they take, we can just retake and we're fine. We can retake. They still have to get these pieces out somehow. Maybe they'll try to kick our knight, in which case we can just play our knight back. And from this point here, if they were to do it that way, they can't really get their knight out yet, because this square is kind of where the knight wants to go. But your best option really is probably to take off the knight and say to to your opponent, what are you going to do with this king? Are you really going to castle it just into this mess? And as you can see, at this point, we have an edge in development, right? We have a lead in development. We're about to have king safety because we're about to move our bishop out of the way, Fian Ketowit, and move our king into safety, castling it to safety. White has 0 safety for their king whatsoever. We are immensely better off than white in this situation. And this whole thing started with the Wayward Queen attack. So as you can see, if you just learn the first 4 moves, because this is all within the first 4 moves, if you learn the first 4 moves of this, you're fine. And again, seeing that Wayward Queen attack should not be scary. You're going to be just fine, you're going to be ahead in development, and if your opponent isn't careful, they're going to end up losing at least a queen or a rook. So they really need to play this carefully. So that's going to do it for today's video. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and even a comment if you found this helpful. I love hearing comments. Let me know in the comments if you have any other videos that you would like me to create. Happy to create more beginner content. So yeah, hope everyone has a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!